Okay, so you're going to make it do a seller representation agreement. So could you show a screen where it shows all the related documents, or what you showed all of the other? If you do that one, and then there's all the other related
Yeah,
documents.
so if I click
Yeah,
on
you show that?
representation agreement, it opens the
Yeah.
document record for
Okay.
that, and you can
Oh,
see that these are the
yeah.
associated
Okay.
templates.
Hold on. Okay, you got that. So there's one there I don't see, which is agency disclosure. So when you create the representation agreement, you don't see the agency disclosure agreement being created, but it is being created. And unless you hit the download button, you don't see it. So
Well,
if you go
you
over to,
do. So here's
well,
I can show you this.
so if you go over to draft, could you go over to draft?
Yeah, let me go into edit mode here.
Well, okay.
Now I can show you if you go instead of downloading, if you click the little arrow and go into print
Right.
preview,
Yeah.
your print preview is going to show you that your agency disclosure has already been created.
Yeah. So that was just,
It's bundled with it.
I did like five of these things. And one day I was having just a senior moment and just forgot that that was automatically created. And then I
Yeah.
was looking for it and I'm going like in the associated area. I couldn't find it. Right. So then I went down to those miscellaneous areas and created one from
Okay.
scratch. But of course, it didn't pre populate everything. And I'm going, no, I'm doing something wrong. And then I finally figured it out. So I only bring it up because maybe somebody else has had the same problem. Well, uh, I goofed up one day. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, and you didn't goof up. So what we did there is Legito gives us the ability to create a document set. And because an agency disclosure is required prior to a rep agreement being signed and prior to a buyer rep agreement signed and prior to a purchase agreement being signed, we created the agency. Actually, I think that the seller representation, we created a document set that automatically creates an agency disclosure. We did the same thing in the buyer rep agreement.
okay.
Purchase agreement, I don't recall if we normally I think we also bundled an agency disclosure with a buyer confidentiality agreement, although it's not necessarily required. So we had that two ways where it could be done. One thing you'll notice is that in the seller rep agreement, your associated templates are, there's
Yeah.
what, 7 of them? But in your purchase agreement, you have a lot of other associated
Yeah.
agreements, associated templates, and those are primarily your transaction templates, right? So
Right.
because once you have now seller disclosure is in both. It's associated with your rep agreement. It's also associated with your purchase agreement because
Sure.
depending on your practice, I mean, there are some of us, I like to do seller disclosure with the listing. And so I can learn what issues there are and maybe address some of those while we're marketing the business. But I never want to give that one to a buyer because it could be 6 months later and business is dynamic and things change. So typically
Uh,
at that
yeah.
point, I want them to sign a new seller disclosure or to
I,
complete a new seller
I
disclosure.
think that's a really good best practice.